Hey folks, welcome into the News 12 Now desk. Thanks for joining us here on this Monday, August 28th. We've made it to a fresh start of the week and hopefully what's shaping up to be a much cooler week than what we saw last week. And we take a look here at what Tim left us here for the 7-day forecast. Look at Wednesday's high, 81 is the high. It's a far cry from where we were at about a week ago when we were looking at 100-degree highs just about. So we are doing much better than that. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. You were able to enjoy some of the weather that we had, or you stayed out of the heat and stayed out of the rain. That would also be good. But all right, we are taking a look at our top headlines today. Before we do that, though, I want to remind you guys, as always, to be sure to download our WRDW streaming app. If you haven't done that already, you can do that on your Roku, your Fire Stick, your Apple TV, whatever your favorite streaming device is. You just search WRDW on there, and it is free to download. Also, if you want to check out our YouTube channel, we do stream up here every day. If you check this out, here's YouTube. You can get right here, WRDW News 12. And there we are, streaming live right now. Here's our channel. You can subscribe right there. Like I said, we do stream every day on both the streaming app and the YouTube channel. We do these top headlines. We do our First Alert Weather Extra show with our meteorologists. We do press conferences, breaking news. Everything that's important is going to be up here. So be sure you have those couple things done, subscribed, and downloaded. That way you don't miss anything that we do. But all right, let's get into the headlines now. We start off, as always, here in our area. An investigation is underway at Big Heart Campground after the body of a man was found. News 12's Dick Herber has been following the story and has the latest for us.
This is the first time an incident like this has happened this year. From our reporting, the last incident was in June of last year where 3 siblings drowned at Clarksville Lake. And before that, it was 3 people in 2021. The McDuffie County Coroner's Office identified that body as 92-year-old Michael Allen Cole. This all started when Mark McKillen with the DNR says game wardens were told about an adult male floating face down in Clarksville Lake nearby the Big Heart boat landing late Sunday morning. That call came in just after 11, and Cole was pronounced dead not long after. His body has now been sent to Georgia Bureau of Investigation Crime Lab for an autopsy.
Okay, thanks for that, Audrey. And the McDuffie County Coroner's Office and the Georgia DNR are investigating the incident. We will, of course, keep you updated as soon as we hear more. The Allendale Police Department is currently looking for this man, Jonathan Kelly, wanted for murder and kidnapping. This stems from an incident 2 weeks ago where officers responded to shots fired near Bluff Road and Sam Street. That left 1 person dead. Police say Kelly is considered to be armed and dangerous, and if you see him, do not approach him. The Transport Workers Union of America and the Sierra Club held a Ride the Bus event. This was on Saturday, bringing a renewed focus to transit and those who use the Augusta Transit bus on the regular. News 12 caught up with Heather Morales, a transportation specialist, who says Saturday's event was also about engaging with the community.
The main goal was to have them speak about the Clean Air Initiative, but also to engage the community in bringing forward any issues or concerns or questions that they have about the transportation.
The event also aimed to demonstrate how transit services benefit the community by removing barriers, improving access, and restoring transportation equity. Also on Saturday, over at Good Shepherd Baptist Church, they held a day of nonstop laughter and fun at their spectacular family reunion event. They had free food, inflatables, plus our First Alert meteorologist, Hannah Harding, was there. A 19-year-old has died after being shot in Wrens early Saturday morning. Jefferson County Dispatch says they got a call about a shooting shortly after 1 a.m. at a home on Washington Street there. When authorities arrived to the scene, they found a woman inside the home unconscious. She was then taken to AUMC, where she later died. This is only the second shooting death for Wrens this year, the other back in June after a store clerk at Wrens Food Mart was killed during an alleged armed robbery. In that case, 2 people were arrested and charged with murder, armed robbery, and more. Our Audrey Dickherber has been following that story all day on Saturday, and she spoke to the family about how they were taking that loss. They say it was an emotional and difficult time for the family of Kaya Shields and anybody who was close to her. Posts and comments on Facebook talk about what a great person she was and how much she'll be missed. When Audrey spoke to the mom today, she was surrounded by many people who are helping her through this time.
Everybody loved their Kaya. She was just this warm person, and they just took her away from you.
An unexpected tragedy, leaving their family in shock.
Never in a million years that I thought that I would be woken up with her saying she was shot. Never.
She grew up on this street, a sudden shift for this calm community.
It's a very quiet neighborhood. You know, I've been here for 41 years, so never had this issue.
Everybody that knew Kaya loved her.
It's a great, spirited, beautiful young lady that was just taken from me just too soon.
Who had big plans for her future.
She wanted to be a teacher, but little kids always latched on to her. For some reason, all the kids that she was around, and like her godson, even her, her cousin, she was just that person that they would latch to, that they would connect with.
And she said she hopes this doesn't happen to anyone else ever again.
Put the guns down. Put the guns down. We have to come as one and as a community and stop this gun violence because it's getting out of hand, especially for Jefferson County.
Now she is holding her family even closer, but says nothing can replace Kaya and the bond they had.
She will be missed. And she was my only child. My only child.
Her mom says they plan to hold a balloon release in honor of her with orange balloons, orange being her favorite color. At this time, they haven't named any suspects, but of course we'll keep you updated if they do and as that story develops. Okay, the countdown is on for Arts in the Heart. Big party downtown. It's a few weeks away. September 15th is the start of that. Brenda Durant is head of the Greater Augusta Arts Council. She is the driving force behind Arts in the Heart. She's also our studio guest this morning, one-on-one with Richard Rogers.
Brenda, welcome. We had to sit down in August because there's no catching up with you in September,
really.
right? What is your life like right now?
It's busy. It's lists, it's emails, it's lists, it's emails. It's making sure I'm dotting the I's and crossing the T's, or crossing the I's and dotting the T's, whichever I'm doing.
You'll do whatever it takes.
I know, really.
How big has Arts in the Heart gotten over the years, and how many years is this for you now?
I think this might be my 27th year with the Arts Council, which means it's my 27th Arts in the Heart with the Arts Council, but I used to volunteer with other organizations, so I've always gone to the festival.
So what can folks expect this year in downtown Augusta?
Well, we're still in the same footprint, which is Augusta Commons, 9th Street, 8th Street, 7th Street, 6th Street. We took over half of 6th last year and made that the family area. So that's the same, still 5 stages, 1 indoor.
Broad Street, both sides?
Broad Street, both sides. The Fine Arts and Crafts, there's 140 of them running down the center of the street. It's a very exciting festival to plan and lots of moving parts.
Let's talk about the booths first of all. Your website says 100 juried fine arts booths. What's special about being juried?
Well, it just means that it's not, it's fine arts and crafts. So we have jurors in different genres who do an online jury process. We use a program called Zapplication that takes the applications. And it just means that you're getting the best of each category. And so some people come back every year, but we have a lot of new artists this year. So if you love to shop, which I believe in retail therapy, I think it's a very important part of my
Absolutely.
life. You get to see just a lot of of juried, meaning the best in certain categories. And then there's people I visit every year. You know, Miss Kay Edenfield, I always go to her booth and have a chat and buy a plaque from her. But as far as your kids, if they haven't seen a lot of different art, or they've only seen it at a store, a department store, it's a really fun way to learn about art, because some of the artists are actually demonstrating how they create the art, and that's really fun.
It's like walking to gallery after gallery right there.
It absolutely
booth after booth. 5 stages this year. Talk about the entertainment.
So we have stage managers who program different stages. I helped a lot with the global stage. So we have big acts every night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Jazz stage. Soul Suite stage is the indoor stage. Used to be mainly spoken word, but we're bringing in a comedian from out of town this year, Mario Toro.
Nice.
Mario Tony. So we have just a lot of different things. And then I have 2 new people managing the family area, which is a family stage, a lot of booths where kids are making international crafts and getting a passport stamped. The people working there are going to be wearing like pilot hats and stewardess outfits.
Sure.
And a lot of things happening on the street, very highly activated area. So it's always something new.
I grew up with Southern rock, and you've got Georgia rock and roll tributes this year with Ryan Abel coming in.
Yes, so he's going to be on the global stage.
That'll be quality stuff.
Yes, it will be. That would be a good night.
I can't wait. The food, we can't skip over the food. It's just an enormous spread.
So the groups right now are sending me photos of their food so that we can put them in different ads and put them in our catalog. And they always come in the morning. And I am a variety of woman called Always Hungry. And so, I get the food from China and they have this beautiful shot of an egg roll. I'm like, don't show me that.
I need an egg roll right now.
Not at 11 o'clock in the morning unless you're going to deliver one. But we're excited to say that Germany is back. So Germany, we haven't had a German food booth in quite some time.
Ah, okay.
And
Big Gates, we say in Germany.
Yes, they're back this year. And so we're very excited about that. People ask about it every year. Why don't you let Germany in? Because no one can do it. But they're back. So
Good.
Germany is there.
Now, if people are watching live this morning, you still need volunteers?
We do. And you can volunteer from the website, artsintheheart.com. Pick your day, pick your time. We are looking for certified bartenders, so if we have any out there that want to volunteer in a bar, we'd love to have you come and volunteer for a shift.
I think you told me you have 700 so far?
We have 700 volunteer
That's
applications.
an army of people.
Our community is so generous. Like, it amazes me that you put up a call for volunteers and a lot of school groups and things, but 700 people said, yes, I'll give you 3 hours or 4 hours or a couple shifts.
That's the lifeblood, I think.
It
right?
really is. But it's such a community-centered event. I mean, you see people you haven't seen since grammar school, if you've been here forever, high school. It reflects the diversity of our community. Like, it's just a beautiful weekend all around.
And if people head here and click early, they can get a deal on tickets, right?
They can. So tickets right now are $12 in advance. You can buy them online if you want to stay in your air-conditioned house, or we're selling them in person at the tag office in National Hills, South Augusta, Sacred Heart Gift Shop, and Augusta & Co. on the 1000 block of Broad Street.
Very good.
We also sell them in New Moon in Aiken.
Now, if you've been to Arts and Heart before, you know what a big party this is, but it says right here, voted best festival in the Southeast. That's some stiff competition. We've got Savannah, Charleston, Atlanta.
Yes.
We're competing with all those cities.
So that happened right before COVID, so we really didn't get to do a big celebration, but we're still celebrating the fact that the Southeastern Tourism Authority named us the best festival in the Southeast, and we're very proud of that.
It is a quality event.
Yes.
What happens to the money you raise year after year?
So we use it for our programs and services. I see a lot of people I mean, the festival is very expensive to begin with. Nothing comes free anymore. But we also do a lot of work in public art. We are training artists to be good business people. We do a lot of turn it back around into our programs.
And what about the cost of running the festival itself?
It's expensive.
It's very expensive.
It's very expensive.
From law enforcement up to the things you rent.
Yes.
So you've got a lot of money to spend there.
Yes.
And it's really worth it. A great party. What else before I let you go? Public art, I think, has come such a long way in downtown Augusta. Are you happy with where we are?
I am very happy. We have our new sculpture trail up. It went up in January. That's up on the Riverwalk. It's beautiful. We have a couple sculptures on the 5th Street Bridge and then leading to the 8th Street Plaza. We have 2 on the bottom of that. That's beautiful. We have more projects coming. Twig Circle is having at the Circle, having a sculpture put in the middle there. And we'll be doing some more asphalt art and some more storm drains.
And if you love art, you have galleries that are dedicated year-round, right?
So we do. So we program the gallery in the back of Augusta and Company, the CVB, the Destination Augusta's gallery on Broad Street. We also have a gallery in the municipal building. So if you're going to pay your tax bill, you can cheer yourself up by looking at some art there. We also have a Candle Gallery is new. That's on the 1100 block of Broad Street, and that's a beautiful gallery. Westaboo has a great gallery right across the street. So yes, a lot of beautiful art in Augusta.
Augusta is an arts town, and Brenda Durant, Greater Arts Council, congratulations on getting it to another year. We can't wait for Arts in the Heart.
I can't either. Thank you so much for having me. We're excited.
Thanks to Brenda for joining us. And, Arts in the Heart, always a super fun event. The food is phenomenal. The entertainment's phenomenal, of course, all the art as well. Bummed I won't be able to make it this year, but got a wedding in Texas to go to. And, I guess that takes precedent, unfortunately. All right, let's move along here to some statewide news now. A volunteer coach for an Atlanta football team is facing charges after video surfaced of him punching a player during a game this weekend. Police have not released the name of the coach, but the video shows the coach yelling at the player during the first quarter of the game and then punching him in the stomach. Police say the coach was removed from the field shortly after that incident and now faces a battery charge and administrative discipline from Atlanta Public Schools. The DeKalb County, the body in the search for a missing DeKalb County toddler has still not been identified. Earlier this week, a body was found during the search for a 2-year-old Josiah Mitchell who went missing more than 2 weeks ago. Crews searched all last weekend into the week for the child, including a lake at Josiah's dad's apartment complex. They drained that lake there. The toddler's father at first said someone kidnapped his son, but police say that wasn't true, and he's since been arrested. That's Artavius North who's been arrested. He's in jail on charges of making false statements and filing a false report. Police in Columbia, South Carolina are investigating the deadly shooting of a USC student that happened early Saturday morning. Investigators say the student tried to go into the wrong house when he got shot. Police were originally called to the home about a burglary, and while heading to the scene, that call changed to reports of shots fired. The Richland County coroner confirms 20-year-old Nicholas Donofrio, a senior at USC, was found shot to death on the front porch of that home. Right now, it's not clear if any charges will be filed. In South Carolina, the Berkeley County Coroner's Office has determined the cause of death of a baby girl was heat. She was found dead in a high school parking lot. The coroner says the heat temperature contributed to the 16-month-old's death. The baby was found in the car seat in the back seat of a car Friday afternoon. Investigators say the owner of the car was a staff member at the high school and had forgotten to drop off the little girl at daycare. At this time, it's unclear if anybody's going to be facing any charges. To some national news now. Charges against former President Donald Trump in Fulton County will face a major test today. District Attorney Fani Willis will lay out the details of her anti-racketeering case against Trump, his Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and 17 other co-defendants at a federal hearing today. It's the first time arguments will be made in court about the 4 criminal cases brought against Trump this year. The hearing will center on Meadows' motion to move his case to a federal court, but it could end up acting as a mini trial that determines the future of Fulton County's case against the former president. Community leaders in Jacksonville, Florida held a prayer vigil Sunday for the victims of Saturday's deadly mass shooting. Officials say the shooter killed 3 black people at a store in a racially motivated attack. Christian Benavidez has the latest from Jacksonville, including new details about both the victims and the gunman.
The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office released surveillance footage of moments from the deadly shooting at the Dollar General store in Jacksonville Saturday.
When you see him walk out on the sidewalk and he points that gun at that car, he fired 11 rounds at that car.
The sheriff identified the gunman as 21-year-old Ryan Christopher Palmetter. Authorities say he carried out his attack in the predominantly black neighborhood, armed with a handgun and an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle painted with swastikas, and that he left behind racist writings at his family's home before taking his own life.
His writings and his manifestos were the diary of a madman.
Neighbors who lived near the shooter say they are shocked by the news.
I really have goosebumps just thinking about it's right here in our neighborhood, the quiet little street.
The sheriff identified the victims as 29-year-old Gerald Gallion, who was shot as he entered the store, 52-year-old Angela Carr, who was shot in her vehicle, and 19-year-old employee AJ Laguerre. The sheriff's department says the shooter purchased his guns legally and there were no red flags, even though he had been involuntarily committed for a mental health examination in 2017. The shooting took place close to Edward Waters University, a small historically black university.
Be very sure.
Sunday night, community leaders held a prayer vigil. Many are still searching for answers as they mourn the victims lost. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Jacksonville.
The attack comes exactly 5 years after a shooting at a video game tournament in Jacksonville that left 2 people dead and 10 others injured.
2 people
Several people were injured in a mass shooting in Boston Saturday morning. Police say the search took place in the city's Dorchester neighborhood during the Joubert Parade, which is part of the city's annual Caribbean Carnival. At least 7 people were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and 2 people have since been arrested. No more cameras in the courtroom. That's what the defense for the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students is asking for. Brian Koberger's attorneys filed a motion asking cameras be banned from the courtroom for the rest of the case, including the trial. The judge has ordered that camera shots not be focused exclusively on Koberger or on any notes or paper on the defense table. The defense attorneys say that's not being followed, arguing photos paired with prejudicial headlines and content can gradually poison the potential jury pool before the trial starts. 1 person is dead, 4 others are hurt after a Miami construction crane collapsed while performing renovations at the HCA Florida Mercy Hospital Saturday afternoon. Around 12:15, Miami Fire Rescue and the City of Miami Police responded to reports of a collapsed crane at the hospital, while officials say a crane failure occurred while it was carrying mechanical equipment about 200 feet in the air before collapsing and dropping it on top of 5 construction workers. There was a deadly crash Sunday involving U.S. Marines. They were killed when their Osprey aircraft crashed on a remote island during joint military exercises.
The military aircraft carrying 23 American Marines crashed near Darwin, Australia, just seconds after the pilot radioed in an emergency. The Osprey, similar to these, went down during a training exercise at 9:30 a.m. Australian time on Melville Island, killing at least 3.
This is a terrible incident.
Helicopters airlifted 5 seriously wounded Marines to Royal Darwin Hospital about 60 miles away. Network 10's Samara Gardner.
The hospital here has activated its highest emergency level, and that's meant that theatres were cleared out as well as several wards to cope with the wounded.
U.S. officials tell CBS News the crash involved Marines from Camp Pendleton, and the Osprey was based out of Hawaii. The tilt-rotor aircraft was one of 2 taking part in a 12-day routine international exercise involving troops from multiple countries. This is the second deadly incident this week involving a Marine aircraft. A Horner jet crashed near San Diego Thursday, killing the pilot. Just last year, 9 Marines died in 2 separate accidents involving Ospreys, one near San Diego and one in Norway.
The military exercises, which were supposed to continue until September 7th, are on pause now as the crash investigation continues. A spokesperson for a Hawaiian Electric is denying reports that the company may have removed evidence related to the wildfire investigation on Maui. The Washington Post was the first to report the utility may have removed evidence from the scene in Lahaina, but a spokesperson for Hawaiian Electric says the Post's story isn't accurate and the utility is fully cooperating with federal, state, and local investigators and providing access to any equipment workers removed. But now some people are suing the company, saying Hawaiian Electric failed to shut down its power lines ahead of the fire despite high wind and red flag warnings. Rare wildfires are burning in the south and forcing mass evacuations in the state of Louisiana. Priscilla Thompson tells us the fires are fueled by relentless heat and an ongoing drought, and now a new weather threat is heading for the region.
Tonight, a wildfire emergency in Louisiana. Several raging throughout the state. This one scorching more than 30,000 acres in southwest Louisiana. Residents forced to evacuate as firefighters race to contain these terrifying flames.
Nobody alive in Louisiana has ever seen these conditions. It's never been this hot, this dry, for this long.
In DeRuyter, Louisiana, this church now a shelter. William and Leota Lacey grabbed their grandkids and rushed out.
Have you all ever seen anything like this here?
No, never. Jada Watkins and her grandma were unable to grab medication, including insulin, as they say the smoke closed in.
I remember when we were leaving, I couldn't breathe. I really couldn't.
The flames tied to Louisiana's drought and the hottest summer on record. Across the country, nearly 90 million are under heat alerts through the weekend. And now, another threat, a tropical depression barreling towards the Gulf. In Florida, today, the governor issuing a state of emergency ahead of the storm that could slam them next week.
Yeah, that hurricane seems to be, or the tropical development right now seems to be getting pretty serious. So keeping an eye on that, certainly if we have any effects here. Keep up to date with your first alert weather app. Okay, let's move along here. Apple has put out a new warning that you should not sleep next to your iPhone while it's charging. The tech giant's latest iPhone user manual says, quote, do not sleep on a device, power adapter, or wireless charger, or place them under a blanket, pillow, or your body when they're connected to a power outlet. Instead, users should keep iPhones, power adapters, and any wireless chargers in a well-ventilated area away from the body when charging. Otherwise, the phones risk generating too much heat and sparking fires. NASA's SpaceX crew has officially successfully docked with the International Space Station. Astronauts from 4 different countries are a part of this mission, which is called Crew 7. The team launched aboard this Crew Dragon spacecraft from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida early Saturday, reaching the ISS yesterday. Astronauts will spend about 5 days taking over operations from SpaceX Crew 6 astronauts who have been on the station since March. This mission marks the 8th flight operated by NASA and SpaceX as part of the agency's Commercial Crew program. Good time to check in on the movie theater since it was a little rainy and a little hot last weekend, neither of which conditions for really being outside, so maybe you were inside. It looks like a photo finish at the weekend box office. David Daniel has the early estimates for the top 5 films in theaters.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem took 5th place with $6.1 million. It's nearing $100 million domestic. Oppenheimer topped the $300 million mark in domestic box office with a 4th place weekend worth $9 million. Blue Beetle dropped from 1st to 3rd, earning $12.8 million.
Hey Barbie, can I come to your house tonight?
Barbie keeps raking in the dough. $17.1 million gave the blockbuster 2nd place and a domestic total of $595 million.
I know what I'm doing. I'm not afraid.
A narrow victory for Gran Turismo. The racing flick based on a true story took the checkered flag, grossing $17.3 million in its debut weekend. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Oh, it's high school football season, and the CSRA has actually sent more than 100 players to the NFL over the years. I thought that was high too, but I looked it up. Count them all up. So when you're watching the games here at home, you could be watching some next great NFL talent. We've got that in this episode of Ariel Augusta. The National Football League has been around for more than 100 years. In that time, the CSRA has produced more than 100 players who have played at least one game at football's highest level. While many play just a few years, some have gone on to have successful, even Hall of Fame careers. One of the earliest Augusta natives to make it big is Emerson Boozer. The Laney grad was a 2-time All-American at Maryland State in the 60s before being drafted into both the NFL and the AFL. He decided to go with the New York Jets of the AFL and was part of the historic Super Bowl III upset over the Colts. Boozer made 2 Pro Bowls and was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2010. Just down the road from where Boozer got his start, you'll find the alma mater of Deion Grant. Grant was a champion at every level, winning a state title with Josie, a national title with Tennessee, and a Super Bowl title with the Giants in his final NFL game. It's impossible to talk about local NFL stars without mentioning Ray Guy. The Thompson native was the punter for 3 Super Bowl winning Raiders teams in the 1970s and 80s. He made 7 Pro Bowls, 6 All-Pro first teams, and was named to the NFL's 75th anniversary team in 1994 and the 100th anniversary team in 2019. The late Ray Guy is in the College Football and Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's the only local player in the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the only punter in Canton. Ranger fans may remember Garrison Hurst for his Bulldog career, but before he was between the hedges, he was winning a state title under Larry Campbell at Lincoln County. Hurst was drafted 3rd overall in 1993. He'd play until 2004, making 2 Pro Bowls along the way and winning Comeback Player of the Year in 2001. Washington County's Takeo Spikes spent 15 years in the NFL, making 2 Pro Bowls. He sits in the top 15 all-time in solo tackles. Our South Carolina schools have sent their fair share of players to the NFL too. William Refrigerator Perry got his start at Aiken High School. After winning a national title at Clemson, he was drafted 22nd overall in 1985. The defensive tackle was part of the legendary 1985 Bears defense and even scored a rushing touchdown in Super Bowl 20. Troy Brown came from Blackville Hilda High School. He became a college football Hall of Fame wide receiver at Marshall and won 3 Super Bowls with Tom Brady and the New England Patriots in the early 2000s. Orangeburg Wilkinson High School has sent more players to the NFL than any other South Carolina school. Guys like 2-time Pro Bowler Tim Jennings got their start as Bruins. Silver Bluff's DeMarcus Lawrence, South Aiken's Michael Dean Perry, Briarwood's Chris Moore, North Augusta's Charlie Waters, the list goes on, and they all have one thing in common. They got their start right here in the CSRA. And every Friday night, we get to watch the next generation of local stars, all trying to etch their names in CSRA football history. And you can catch all of our episodes of Ariel Augusta online, on YouTube, on our streaming apps. It's all up there. Okay, let's keep it in sports now. USA Cycling returns to Augusta for the first time since 2018, and history's made at the U.S. Gymnastics Championship. I'll show you what I can. Can't show you too much pro stuff, so hopefully there's enough green jackets and whatnot in here that we can show you.
Listen, I know you can't believe it because I can. One more homestand and a series away. That's what we have left of the Jacket season. With one more game on the line against Charleston, the Jackets shot for a split. A little hokey pokey for Augie's birthday. He wasn't dancing for long. Dogs got on the board once in the third. Jackets just couldn't find a way to make some magic at the plate. In 27 at-bats, the Jackets only managed to get 3 hits. The almost maybes turned into a quick not today, like Will Vernug's grounder into the double play. May as well chalk this up as a pitching duel. Jackets kept the Dogs to 4 hits, 1 run, sending 9 dogs back to the dugout. Dogs take it 1-0. While the Braves have locked in the season set, their final meeting against the Giants didn't have the right key. The Giants' Patrick Bailey cleared the bases with a double in the bottom of the 5th, and the Braves just couldn't recover. 8-5 in San Fran. USA Cycling descended upon Augusta this weekend. It's the first time since 2018 that the USA Cycling Championships were held here. More than 900 cyclists raced through Fort Gordon and downtown. Many of them came from across the country, including Herman Storms. Storms is from West Jersey. He rode in the Masters 65+ group.
Some of these guys can put 40 miles an hour. This is a whole year-round effort, you know, even the winter. You go back home and you do speed work on the road to gain that speed you got here. Some of these people that are here are ex-Olympians that are racing because everybody's over 35+.
Routes range from 0.7 of a mile to just over 18 miles. Eastlake saw it all this weekend.
Okay, can't show you that, unfortunately. Wish I could, but broadcast rights and all that stuff, I don't feel like getting in trouble. Not really on my to-do list today. But Victor Hovland won the Tour Championship, beat Xander Schauffele by, I think, 5 strokes, and won $18 million at 25 years old. So good for him. All right, keeping it in the sports realm here, we got Burke County, Effingham County. This was on Saturday. Alyssa's got that too. I don't know if the whole game is on there for some reason, but I'll just run it.
It was a low-scoring defensive battle between the Rebels and Bears. A late first-half Burke County field goal gave the Bears a 10-6 lead heading into halftime. Both teams really continued to struggle offensively through the third quarter. The score remains 10-6 all the way until late in the fourth quarter. The Rebels back with the ball with 3 minutes left to play. Nate Davis drops back to pass and connects with Zach Grant for a first down pickup. Getting across midfield a few plays later, A.J. Butts gets the carry with under 2 minutes to play. He grinds his way for a first down and into the Burke County red zone. The Rebels end up facing 4th and goal to go with under 1 minute to play, and all but seals it. Burke County is able to run out the clock after that. Bears bring home a winner, 10-6.
There you go. Okay, it was the whole game. That's good. Congrats to Burke County. Getting another win there, start off the season 2-0. Yeah, a little bit of a shorter episode today, but these shows are usually just a recap of the weekend, and we only had 2 shows this weekend. We only had 11 o'clock shows on both days, so it's a little bit lean out here. And then it was Friday night, it was football, so I'm not going to recap all that because you can just go find that online. So yeah, you can always find out about these stories and much more up on the website, WRDW.com. Be sure you download our WRDW streaming app and be subscribed to our WRDW YouTube channel. That'll keep you up to date with everything that's going on. And coming up in 2 hours, we've got our First Alert Weather Extra Show with Mikkel Hannah Harding, Emily Acton. But first, at 9 o'clock, we got Morning Mix with Cliff and Natalia. Zane is still out. She'll be back tomorrow. So it's Cliff and Natalia today. And I'll be back at 10:30. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you back here in a little bit.